Hi, it's Jennifer from the Art of Education. A lot of people think that sketchbooks are more for the middle school or high school levels, but I actually think they lend themselves quite well to the elementary level. How I use sketchbooks in my classroom is usually at the beginning of the school year, I have my students come in and each grade level gets a chance to make their own sketchbook for one class period. I normally color code all of my sketchbooks. So for instance, all of the first graders' sketchbooks are going to be orange. And what I do is I give each student their own piece of construction paper. And for first grade, they just work on writing their name and adding patterns to it. Second grade, we actually start to create self-portraits and they have to put their name onto their t-shirt that they're wearing. In third grade, the students get to write their names in bubble letters, and then they block out the whole background and start to add a little bit more complex patterns. My fourth graders write out their names, and then they get to create some sort of landscape or seascape or cityscape behind their name. And my fifth graders, we write out either their name or their initials, and then we put them into one-point perspective. So every grade level kind of builds upon the next. While the students are working on these sketchbooks, I get to call them over, and I simply buy a box filled with newsprint because it's relatively cheap. And they bring over their sketchbook cover, even if they're not done working on it. And I just slide the paper into the sketchbook cover, and then I take my stapler and staple the edges, and that will be their sketchbook that they use for the whole year. The other great part about doing this at the beginning of the year is you can actually use that time where you're putting their sketchbooks together to ask the students what they did over summer break. That way you don't get 30 stories as soon as they walk in the door. You can take them one by one. After all the sketchbooks are made, the way we use them is my students will come in for a class period, and in the first 5 minutes I just have quiet music playing and they know that they're not to be talking. And there will be a sketchbook assignment up on the board, and my students just sit quietly and do a sketch for that day in the first 5 minutes. And then I'll have my collection leaders pick up all the sketchbooks and put them away. How we store them is I actually went to some stores right after the beginning of the school year, and they had all these awesome boxes that they were trying to sell folders from. And I just asked them if I could have them, and they gave them to me for free. So all of these just sit up on my countertop, and that's how I organize all of them, and they're just out of my way, and it's an easy way to grab them as well. So it is definitely possible to get your elementary students working in a sketchbook even at a really young age. For more Art of Ed tips and tricks, visit theartofed.com. Hi, it's Jennifer from the Art of Education.
I was a little slow.
I know, the Art of Education.